There's something people find deeply suspicious about someone who doesn't post photos on social media. Not rarely, not occasionally, just not at all. At some point, someone always notices. Usually it happens after a vacation, a birthday, or some event that clearly contained what the internet would classify as postable material. And then someone says something like, "Wait, you went to Italy?" "Yes." "And you didn't post anything?" "No." And then there's this pause. Not a long pause. Just long enough for the other person to realize something is off. Because in today's culture, going on vacation without posting about it is roughly the digital equivalent of buying a Ferrari and then only driving it around the block at night so nobody notices you own it. Which, to be fair, would raise a completely different set of questions. People start scanning your face for clues. Are you shy, secretive, anti-technology, or worse? Are you one of those people who says things like, "I just like to live in the moment," which is a sentence that instantly makes everyone slightly uncomfortable, because if you're not posting your life, what exactly are you doing with it? And more importantly, how are people supposed to know you're doing well? I'm one of those people, not out of pride, not out of rebellion. At some point, I just stopped posting. There was no big decision, no manifesto. It just happened. Quietly. Like someone slowly leaving a party and only realizing later that it's actually much quieter outside. And also that the music inside wasn't that good to begin with. Since then, something interesting has happened. The less I post, the more mysterious people seem to think my life is. Which is funny, because my life isn't mysterious at all. I do the same things everyone else does. I work, I meet friends, I travel sometimes. The only real difference is, most of it doesn't exist on the internet. And surprisingly, it still exists, which feels like something the internet occasionally forgets. Social media has quietly changed the way we think about our own lives. Many moments now happen with a second layer running in the background. Not just, what's happening right now, but also, how would this look if I posted it? And suddenly, your brain starts operating differently. You notice lighting, angles, backgrounds, sometimes even things like, does this look spontaneous enough? Which is a slightly strange question when you're currently arranging the moment. And at some point, I noticed something else. I wasn't just experiencing moments anymore. I was observing them while they were happening. Like there was a small producer living somewhere in the back of my mind, constantly thinking, this could be a good photo, which is impressive, because 10 years ago, that job didn't exist. But here's where it gets interesting. The strange thing isn't that some people don't post. The strange thing is how uncomfortable it makes other people. Because social media isn't just communication, it's identity presentation. Every post tells a small story about who we are, or at least about who we'd like to be. A coffee becomes lifestyle, a vacation becomes freedom, a selfie becomes confidence, and suddenly, you're not just living your life. You're curating it, like an exhibition, with carefully selected highlights, and a large amount of invisible, ordinary life in between, which, inconveniently, is where most life actually happens. There's also a biological side to all of this. Every like, every comment, every notification triggers a small release of dopamine in the brain, the same system involved in reward and habit formation. And slowly, your brain learns something very simple. Posting equals attention. Attention equals reward. And suddenly a part of your mind starts categorizing experiences in a new way. Not just fun, interesting, weird, but also post-worthy, which is a surprisingly modern category. Humans managed to live for thousands of years without it, and somehow still had experiences. For many people, the shift doesn't happen suddenly. It happens gradually. Maybe one day, you realize you spent more time searching for the right angle of a sunset than actually watching the sky. Or maybe you notice that after a beautiful moment, your first instinct is to check your phone, not to remember it, but to measure it. And eventually, a slightly uncomfortable question appears. Am I actually experiencing this? Or am I documenting it? For some people, that question eventually becomes exhausting enough to simply stop. No announcement, no farewell post, just silence. Which, interestingly, is the one thing social media is very bad at handling. There's a concept in psychology that describes this surprisingly well. It's called psychological ownership, the feeling that a moment truly belongs to you. When an experience stays private, it often feels more personal, more intact, more yours. But the moment you post it, something subtle shifts. The experience stops belonging only to you. Now it belongs to comments, reactions, interpretations, and occasionally someone writing, "Wow, looks amazing," even though they have absolutely no idea what that moment actually felt like. Which is fair. Photos are not particularly good at explaining entire human experiences. Of course, not all digital silence comes from calm reflection. Sometimes it's simply exhaustion. Social media creates a subtle psychological pressure. Psychologists call it self-presentational pressure. The pressure to present yourself in a way others approve of. The pressure not to say the wrong thing, or even worse, to say something and receive no reaction at all. And eventually posting can start feeling less like connection and more like a small exam, one that nobody officially signed up for. When I stopped posting, something surprising happened. Life didn't become emptier, it became quieter. I started doing things without thinking about how they would look. I cooked without photographing the food. I traveled without constantly pulling out my camera. I ate meals simply to eat them, which, surprisingly, turned out to be a perfectly sufficient purpose. Food seems to work that way. Something else interesting happened too. When you stop broadcasting your life, you start noticing who actually checks in on you. Not because they saw an update, but because they genuinely wondered how you're doing. Those conversations feel different, more direct, more real. They exist outside the algorithm, just between two people, which, by the way, used to be the default setting for human relationships. Over time, something else begins to happen. When your sense of self isn't constantly mirrored back through likes, it slowly starts forming from the inside out. You know who you are, even when nobody is watching. That's not arrogance. It's more like a kind of calm. Like a room where suddenly nobody is trying to play music through their phone speakers anymore. And you realize the quiet was actually the better option. Ironically, people who post the least often have the most interesting stories. You just hear them differently, not through stories, but across a table, in conversations, with all the messy details that would never fit into a perfectly curated post. And maybe that's the point. Not everything valuable needs to be shared. Some experiences work perfectly fine without an audience. Some people say, if you didn't post it, did it even happen? But the truth is, many of the moments that shape us the most never make it to the feed. Our hardest times, our biggest internal changes, our quiet victories, they happen without an audience. And maybe people who don't post simply understand that a little earlier. That visibility isn't the same thing as meaning. That privacy isn't loneliness, it's closeness to yourself. And sometimes, a moment simply belongs to the people who were actually there. No filters, no captions, no audience, just life. And honestly, my food never looks good enough for Instagram anyway, which is probably for the best.